What's up, men? Welcome to the Male Cartel podcast. Let's get started.
Do you think men are important? Like for what?
Men are not meant to be dominant. Men are meant to be submissive.
Life's too short to exercise. I'm just going to be honest.
It's okay to be fat.
Dispelling toxic masculinity and really redefining what it means to be a man. Men can cry. It's okay to be weak. It's okay to be weak.
I'm telling you right now, not everybody wants to see you win.
You seem to be more woman than you are man. You don't have any manly qualities.
You give them this message that it's okay to be a man.
It's not okay, it's necessary. How are we going to do without men? You look around the city here, you see all these buildings go up, these men, they're doing impossible things.
It ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Be a dangerous man. Being dangerous is not being a threat. They're two different things. You can't be a good man if you're not a dangerous man. You say one disrespectful thing to my wife, I am not only willing, but I'm able to inflict great bodily damage.
I'm going to do everything in my power to become a victor and not a victim. I can't explain it, but you better feel me. Winners win and losers lose. I can't explain it any better than that. I don't know how it happens, but winners win. And if you create a culture of losing, if you keep being a victim, if you keep letting losing happen to you, if you keep letting people do you and treat you any kind of way, it's going to become a culture. What's the matter with you? There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
Here's your host, Nick and Shane.
Hey, what's up, Male Cartel? This is your boy Shane.
I'm Nick.
And man, we are back with a brand new episode. We on season 2, episode Unos. No? What?
Quattro Trace. This
Five?
is 16.
16.
I believe this
Episode
is
16? Sorry for the break in the... It's episode 16, but...
We don't even know anymore.
Season 2, episode 5. Season 2, episode 5.
Yeah.
Sorry for the blank in there, guys, but we were, when producer Carell, when he throws up the
he's
signals,
waving flags.
We don't even know
crazy.
anything. We thought it was him being I actually thought he was going to let us know about something he put on social media, Nick.
Yeah, I thought something had gone haywire and we had to stop and start over. Or
I actually thought that he was going to tell us about that post that he said today was a good day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
Sunday.
Let us know. Sunday, I thought he was going to let us know what actually happened that day.
He just posted today was a good day. So my mind went in all sorts of directions.
Well, there's only two things it could be. One, he was listening to Ice Cube.
True.
Today was a good day. Or two, he was getting that 6-inch cold cut combo and got him a little smooch action afterwards from that little girl.
I was thinking a cold cut and a warm kiss.
That's it. I want some salt and pepper and some oregano and a little kiss.
Yeah, I almost posted and asked him. I was like, "Did you get you a date or what? I mean, what's going on?" So
yep.
That's awesome.
What kind of
I was also thinking like,
also kind of bread you want.
I'm glad we said cold cut too when you said 6-inch,
dude.
But I was wondering also. I guess it's good. How many more times we need to introduce ourselves when the podcast starts?
I know, dude. I know.
I'm Shane. I'm Nick. Yeah,
we got to come with a new
line. Everybody knows.
Hey, let us know what you would like for us to say coming out versus us, because you already know it's us.
Yeah.
So
unless you're new, but you can see it on the thing. I mean, it says Shane and Nick.
So we don't have to let us know. Maybe we need to come up with something like ta-da or splat-ow or something. I don't know.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! We're here. We're back at it. But if y'all saw, Carell, that was probably the most. He looked like he was doing jumping jacks. That was like the most exercise I've seen.
Oh, it was, man. Time. He was. Yeah, I thought so too. Like he's doing sit jacks.
Sit jacks. Working on that upper body. Some traps. Hey, so what's been up, man?
A little bit of everything, but I was.
A little bit of everything. What does that mean? What does that mean?
Life, work,
go down the list. Life, what you doing?
I was telling you this off camera. I'll say it. I kind of ran across this comedy show online. I can't endorse it because of some of the content. But there was one thing I did want to like point out because there are some funny parts to it. But I love the fact that it's like an American Idol for comedy. And the host, like the main host, when someone doesn't do good, and even sometimes when they do well, he roasts them. Now, of course, some of it's in good fun. Sometimes it's because they just stink. And, I'm thinking, how would I do with stand-up comedy? I'm more situational comedy, like making fun of someone or something in the moment, or a situation. But what I really appreciated is the fact that, like, how honest they can be. And even with each other, even his co-host, sometimes he's kind of ribbing him or, kind of even correcting him. And it's like, people aren't getting offended because it's all in the name of comedy. And I was just thinking, like, in life, how great that would be if we could be that honest with each other and not get offended. It's like something ain't right. Something don't look right.
And then you use a roast. Well, you do that with your boys,
some body odor or, whatever.
Like, listen, like if you smell bad, I'd be like, Nick, you smell stank, bro. Like, what happened? What
I hope you would.
And I would. Oh, I would. And I would say something like, so I would anticipate because you haven't stank before.
Well, thank you.
So I would think that you must have worked out hard or something, So, but yeah, I love your buddies. You could roast and have good fun. Like we give producer Carell a hard time for stuff, and he just takes it, smiles, and laughs. And man, dude, sometimes I'll roast myself so bad, I'll be like, oh, bro. Look at that wrinkle in your face. Like I told myself today, I was like, dude, you look rough, bro. Do something to clean it. I was like, ain't no hope. It's just no hope. There's no hope for you today. So I was like,
Were you looking in the
tired.
mirror?
I'm not even tired, bro. I look myself in the mirror and I don't know if it's like allergies. The other day was windy or whatever. But all through here, like my eyes.
Well, at least you're looking in the mirror. Some people need to look in the mirror.
Yeah, well, I didn't like what I saw in the mirror. So I was like, dang, dude, you look rough.
Maybe that's why people don't look in the mirror.
Sometimes I'll use the bathroom, bro, and nothing ever happens. And I'm like, say, bro, you act like you got to go potty bad, and then you can't even take a poop. And I'm like, dude, I start roasting my guts, dude. I just like, man, I got the lamest bowel movement issues. Like, I don't know what's happening, but
I got help for you. Remember we asked for some tips for 50-year-olds since you're pushing 50.
Yeah.
So David Bunch, one of our Male Cartel listeners, sent word through me.
Okay.
And I totally forgot the last episode to bring it up, but now this is perfect.
Let's go.
He said cherry juice, which I love cherries, but I've never really drank cherry juice, except for the froyo places, those where they do by the weight. If you add cherries to that, it's going to weigh it down, but you can just siphon out the juice and get the flavor of cherry.
Dang,
without the cherry.
You're so cheap.
Hey, look, I grew up poor. So you learn the tricks of the trade. Cherry juice and, of course, prune juice, he said, keeps things moving.
Regular.
So if you're having problems.
I ain't doing no prune juice, bro. All right, I will tell you
cherry
this.
Juice.
All right, I'm going to tell you this. This weekend, I was out of town, almost 2 hours away, speaking at a youth event. It was awesome. It was a great experience. My daughter went with me. But something happened middle of the night on Friday night. I get kidney stones. So next thing I know, my back is killing me. It's number 43. And
Kidney stone 43?
Yeah, I thought the whole time, Richard Petty. Because he was NASCAR with 43. I was like, I'm Richard Petty, kidney stone. And this is like 3 a.m. And I must have got up like 8 times to pee. And then I thought I would have to poop. I couldn't poop. And it was hurting. Anyways, kid you not, listeners, my kidney stone was stuck, bro. It was stuck. And I would pee and it would be dribble, dribble, dribble. Okay. As we talked about. And I'm not talking about producer Carell on the basketball court dribbling. I'm saying dribble, dribble, dribble. And like your friend.
Like we're going to talk about in just a minute.
Yeah. But it was stuck, dude. And I immediately, kid you not. So if you're listening, well, I guess you are listening. If you're listening. But
if you're listening closely.
If you're listening closely. This is time as a man to hunker down and listen intently. All I'm thinking about is I've got to go in front of hundreds of kids. We're going to go on a rec field, middle of the day, and then I gotta speak. I gotta endure this thing all day long, and it's stuck and lodged. Okay, and I'm thinking something's got to happen. And me and the good Lord had a lot of conversation in this about my genitalia, and so I just went to the bathroom, and literally, kid you not, passed it about 5 minutes before we left to go to the church to eat lunch with all the kids.
Nice.
Literally 5 minutes, and the whole time, I kid you not, I done put my little pills out. I'm drinking tons of water. I'm laying all my stuff out just in case. So literally from like 2 a.m. till 11:40. And then finally got stuck, was passing it, but finally was stuck about 8:30 that morning.
Wow.
So I went to the gym because I wasn't it was pain, but it was a different type of pain, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then I tried to like do a little bit, and then I was going, man, this and that. And I was like, but my daughter, she didn't know anything. The only thing she said was, because we're in the same hotel together, room, and she still calls me Dada. She was like, Dada, you, why do you think you go in the bathroom? Is everything okay? I said, everything's straight. Everything's straight. And it was not straight, dude.
Straight and stuck?
All I know is it was stuck, bro. I was like, man, it's got to be like, we got to bring this to like biblical, man. We got to like, be in the Easter morning. That stone needs to be rolled away, bro. It needs to get out of here. Let's go. So just know I was sweating. So if prune juice helps me in that area, or them cherries, I'll do chocolate covered cherries. I don't care. I'll do any kind of cherries. Cherry juice. I'll do cherry wine, even though I don't drink wine. But I'll do cherry. I'll do cheer wine. Cheer wine, bro. Let's do cheer wine. Maybe the carbonation's my issue. I don't know. But 43, bro. So that was my good weekend this weekend for me. But so yeah, where do we go next with that?
Well, one, talking about looking in the mirror, being honest with yourself, something about wrinkles or something. I forget.
Yeah, I got wrinkles. You see.
But for those joining us online, those looking at the camera with with Shane, flip that camera to Shane real quick so they can get a good look. You can actually see his face today.
See my face.
Yeah, I had to ask Shane to pull his microphone down because it's like nothing but like his face and the microphone.
Yeah, well, you know, I was getting I feel like I was in a rap battle, or I was in a studio, me and Cheddar Bob in the studio.
Well, majority of our listeners are on audio, so we can kind of forget people. Sometimes I'm looking at you, not even looking at the camera, anyway.
Yeah, me too, man. I always look at you. I forget the camera's there.
Yeah, but talk about roasting people. I think I mentioned this before. I would hope no one would get a hold of our phone when we die. Like if I die, hold it up to my face. I mean, my wife knows, but other than that, probably wouldn't go well because we're pretty good at roasting each other people. I sent you something even yesterday.
Yep.
Guy comes up to our office. This is for us as guys. Like, this is not just a like, what's up kind of catch up. This is like, there's a lesson in this. So this guy comes up and I see him. And so I see it on our Ring doorbell camera. And I look and just kind of observe. Well, Casey had gotten it. And so I went back and kind of listened after just seeing some of the posture. And this guy did not look like he took good care of himself. And beyond that, those people, they're kind of like the waiters or waitresses. And I guess they don't want to look like the stiff person just there taking the order. So they like squat at your table or they'll sit down with you and your guests.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're
cool.
Trying to be cool.
Yeah.
This is kind of the vibe I got from him. And so he's leaning against the door jamb, kind of the little walkway of our office building. They didn't come in, and he's talking, and I'm not listening. I don't have all that. I'm just kind of looking at the body language, but he's just kind of leaning, and this guy's like a salesman or a sales manager introducing this other salesperson, and it's just like doesn't put off a good vibe. Well, I was out running some errands, and I was on certain side of town, and I was debating whether or not to grab lunch over there or to get it closer to the office. I was like, it's getting close to 12. I'm going to go ahead and go grab lunch. So just the timing was perfect. But I had to go, speaking of the restroom, I had to go to the restroom, didn't have anything stuck. And so
praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord. So as I'm walking to the bathroom, here comes Joe Cool kind of waddling out of the bathroom, and I was like, no way. That's the same guy that I just sent a picture to Shade to, showing his kind of posture and what he was doing, being Mr. Too Cool for, everybody. And so I walk in and I go, because I always lift the seat, when using the restroom.
Do you touch the seat with your bare hands?
I will pull the toilet paper
and then do it.
Yeah, because I've seen people using their feet and all kinds of stuff, and so.
What if you use your foot and your foot falls in the toilet? That's like pretty gross. If you ever did it, how people,
it could.
They do go,
yeah.
shoot, and you're like,
oh, yeah.
I wear Crocs, so dude, I'm like done.
You'd be all right.
I'll be wading in the water. I'll be wading in the toilet.
Returning your Crocs to their natural habitat.
Yeah, in the swamp.
To the toilet. Is that a log? No, that's not a tree log. And so anyway, as I look down to the toilet seat to lift it up, the guy peed on the seat.
Oh, joker.
And it wasn't just like, it could have been there. It was still kind of dribbling. And we were talking about this to, producer Carell, and producer Carell's like, only dribbling I do is on the court, which now I got to see. So I got to challenge Carell to some basketball. And so, but I'm just like, first of all, I would never do business with this kind of person. You doesn't look like you take care of yourself very well. You act too cool for everybody. Like stand up, use some posture, but then you can't even clean up after you pee on the seat. That tells me all I need to know about you.
And you didn't wash them hands either. Probably.
Well, so the toilet was just kind of as if it had just been flushed.
Yeah,
I didn't get the vibe that there was time between. Flushing the toilet and getting out. By the time you usually wash your hands and dry them, the toilet's done, it's flushed and then it's settled back. This is as if it had just been flushed.
Yeah.
And he just walked out. And then he's over eating lunch with his buddy. And I'm just like, as guys, one, we need to present ourselves well, have good posture, not leaning like we're still in college or high school and we're just the cool dude. And then things like peeing on the seat is just lazy. It's just like a little boy in a grown man's body. Yep. And that's kind of what I refer to him as is, little boy in an adult body. And we can just do better than that, guys. We, people are, the other side of this is you don't know who is watching you. He didn't see me at the office. He didn't know that I saw him on the Ring doorbell camera. And so he has no idea that I'm the pastor and part of the decision-making process for what he's trying to sell.
Yep.
And within an hour, we're in the same spot and I'm able to see him kind of not in public, So even if he was putting up a front, he's showing his true self. And so I just like, as guys, we need to do better. And maybe he didn't have a good role model or something, but he needs one.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy. The washing your hands after you use the bathroom. That's something I have noticed. My sons have noticed. Like, Dad, did you see that guy? He didn't wash his hands. I've seen guys walk out of the. I go to a urinal. So our lady listeners, there's urinals and there's a toilet usually in a bathroom, and so you're at the urinal where you stand up and do your business, and a guy just destroying. I mean, like he's like in a war. It's like World War, and he's like in the middle. It's like wartime mindset. He's willing to do whatever he needs to get done to handle his business. Dropping bombs. I mean, he's like breathing hard, needs oxygen tank. He comes out and just exits the building.
Yes.
And then you're like, oh no, this is like, oh boys will get E. coli or something. Yep. It's like you don't even want to be around them. And so I've seen so many people at the gym do that. And
then they're going to touch equipment.
Bro, I stay away from folks like that, man. That's a very frustrating thing because you hear, you just, I don't think that I'll get sick only because I grew up in the way I grew up and I should have been, super sick. So maybe I built some kind of immunity, how I grew up. But I'll promise you, I hear all the stories about E. coli and contamination and somebody gets something from a gym probably, and then they're in the hospital and all this other stuff. And it's terrible, but it's like, man, but the peeing on a toilet seat, dude, I've been the same thing where somebody walks out and I walk in and there's somebody peeing on the toilet seat. Now I am this way. If I walk in and if there's like an explosion of pee, I'll go to another stall.
Yeah. Yep.
But if there's just a little bit, I'll go ahead and take toilet tissue. I'll clean it. I will do that and then throw it in. I'm not touching the pee. I just grab a whole truckload of toilet tissue and I'm just like wiping it down, throw it in, and then I'll do my business and then I wash my hands really good. But
it's still not clean for the next person. So
It's
I'll
still
try
not
to
clean,
try to let the store or the restaurant know, like, hey, somebody
just exploded the bathroom, bro.
Right. Or, they peed on the seat.
Paint. Like it just spilled brown paint everywhere.
Right. So they can go in with some disinfectant. But I saw a guy do that same thing in the stall, blowing it up, walks out, doesn't wash his hands.
Yeah.
I get done at the urinal. By the way, young guys, urinal cakes are not edible. So you'll hear the word urinal cakes. Those are not dessert. So anyway, I wash my hands, and by the time I get out, he's kind of across. We were in Dillard's for something. He's across, and I see him, and he walks up behind his girl and wraps his arms around her. And I so wanted to go up to her and be like, "Hey, your guy didn't even. He just left the stall, blew up the bathroom, and didn't wash his hands.
And now his dirty hands all over you."
I also like to, when people are in the stall and they're talking on their cell phone to someone, I love making as much noise as I can, flushing the urinal. I love it when they have those hand dryers that are like jets, and I just sit there and dry my hand and make sure that noise. That way, whoever's on the other end knows.
Oh yeah,
that person's sitting on the toilet talking to them. I'll wash my hands a little bit longer.
Do you use the dryer? Do you ever use the dryer? I don't use the dryer because all it's doing is circulating the poop air on your head.
Well, some only have the dryer. But even if they only have paper towels and someone's talking on their phone, I will use the dryer just to make the noise.
You're just pulling off.
If you just yank on it just a little bit, don't tear it, it'll
keep going.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a cheat code.
Yeah.
You know what I want to do? I used to do this back in the day, but some of my boys were going to do it, and then my sons, but they're kind of still like weirded out by it. But hopefully they'll get to an age where they think it's funny. But I used to love when get to the urinal and just pull your pants all the way down to your ankles. And when dudes have to walk in, they have to see your behind. And you're standing there peeing. And I remember back in the day, it was like me, Drew Hall, and Hank Murphy.
So you're mooning
all
people?
Man. All our stuff is down to our ankles, and just and everybody's walking in, and you're just like three dudes, their pants pulled down to their ankles, making it so awkward. No dude come next to you. I mean, you know what I mean? They just go look for a stall.
A pee and a peep show.
Yep, that's right. That's right. Come look at
that was the time we took teenagers to a conference in Macon, and the second floor bathrooms didn't have any urinal dividers. And so it's just urinal. And so all of the teenagers would walk in and look, and several were like, "Oh no!" And so the downstairs bathroom had lines, and so all the adults would just go in there, use the restroom. It's like we're not looking.
That's right.
And,
that's right.
Even if you catch a glimpse, we all got the same thing. So at that age, you don't care. It's like you just got to go to the bathroom.
That's right.
So all the adults use the upstairs restroom. No line, no waiting. And then I heard it several times throughout that conference. Boys walk in and it's like, oh no.
Well, you know what? Some away, not locker rooms, like clubhouses for like away teams in football. And so you show up to a visiting, and you can have the raggediest away place. Like some people have they have a nice rebuilt, locker room and a place for like their team. And then they're away. They put them in the raggediest place, the old one, on purpose. So you have the most different. And, it's
no
just
comfort.
No comfort. And so there's one here in the CSRA. Won't name its name, but one where there's the urinals are like that, and then there is no rooms. It's just toilets. And so one time I had to use the bathroom real bad. I'm just sitting on the toilet, man. And you're just in the middle of the room. It's like prison, dude. It's like prison. I just keep my pants, at my knees, And I'm just talking to the guys like, what's up? What's up? What's up?
How's it going?
Dude, it is like nobody wants to use the bathroom. Even the athletes, only a few dudes think it's funny, but everyone else is like, oh no, I'm not using the bathroom. I'm like, you welcome to come on in, bro.
Yeah.
And like, but it is the most hilarious thing. Because you're right, those teenagers, they walk in, they're like, oh no. They freak out.
I think Fulton County Stadium used to have the trough.
And
you're just Carolina Gamecocks, I think, still have it.
Trough.
And it's just in their bathroom, it's just the trough.
Man.
But now they've got the round hand washing stations at large arenas, and it looks like the trough.
Yeah,
so I think every guy should just
that.
have to stand around and
do business
there, and that way we could talk to each other while we do our business.
Yeah, as long as you're not passing a kidney stone.
Yeah. I mean, could you imagine us going to a game and we could use the restroom and continue like having a conversation and not have to stop?
That's like sword fights back in the day when you were a kid.
No, actually, the rules are you go in, use the restroom, and get out. Don't have conversations unless you're sitting in the middle of the room.
Yep, that's exactly right.
With no stall.
Yeah. So guys, we anybody else listening, you go in. The rule is, go like Nicholas said, go potty, do business, don't really make eye contact. Only thing you're allowed to do is as you exit or as you get ready to grab paper towels, somebody passes in front of you, you can do the occasional look at their face and you do the nod down.
Yes.
With your head. Like you just tip your hat at them and that's it, man. That's not when you go, what's up? You don't do the head up. What's up?
That's when you know someone.
You just go, what's up?
They say guys do that naturally. Like if I know someone, I feel comfortable, like doing the heads up because you're more vulnerable. And if you don't know someone, we typically naturally go down.
Oh,
because
that makes sense.
It's like kind of guarding our.
You don't want to get throat punched.
Right, but it's we're not as vulnerable, but it's more tip our hat.
Hey, that's it, dude.
Versus what's up, man?
I feel like a cowboy when I do that. Hi, howdy.
Have you ever ended up in the wrong restroom?
I have. One time I did.
Did you notice and get out, or
airport?
Did you?
I was at airport. Came in and didn't even pay attention because I was on my phone. Come walking in, went straight in, and then didn't even really look. Went straight for a stall. And when I was in there, it dawned on me. I hear nothing but females, and was like, "Oh no!" Because I took my book bag off. I hear earbuds in my ears, and I hung it on the little. There's a little thing where you can hang stuff outside. When you close the door, and so I put my book bag up there, took my earbuds in, and all I heard was females, and I was like, I think I'm in the girls' restroom. Didn't know what to do. I was frozen, and I just sat there. I couldn't even use the bathroom, man. I was like shy as all get out. Wait till everyone left, and I remember opening the door and then closing it, and open the door and closing it, trying to think, when can I get out? When can I get out? And finally, I just said, man, what the heck? I'm just gonna, whatever. I'll just act like I just came in. And, I went in the wrong one. Whoops. So I took my earbud and put it back in my ear because it was on a cord, and I was like, I'm just gonna leave, and if I run into somebody right at the door, then I'll just say, oh, I came in the wrong one. I didn't pay attention. I gotta start paying attention. I came and no one saw me unless they saw me as I was exiting, leaving the girls' restroom. And
that'd be bad to miss your flight because you're waiting too long to escape.
Yeah, dude.
I was in the Gwinnett Center Catalyst conference and not paying attention, and I walk in and it's like 6 just stalls. And I was like, this is the weirdest restroom I've ever seen. There's no urinals. I'm not thinking. I was just thinking, this is weird. So I walk into an open stall. All of the others are closed. And when I get in there and start to, use the restroom, I'm standing, and I notice that the 2 feet beside me, the 2 stalls beside me, there's feet hanging out below it. And they're like female shoes.
Stilettos.
That's when I realized I'm in the women's restroom, and here you gotta wonder what they're thinking as they're sitting there and they see my feet turned in the opposite direction, standing because I've already started using the restroom.
And all you hear is the free fall is what it is.
So I finish flush, and then I go to walk out, and there's a woman custodian in there cleaning the restroom, and so I'm the same way. I'm like, oh my goodness. Can you just leave, because I'm trying to sneak out of here, especially before these other people get out. And so finally she left before anybody else exited, and I'm peeking out of the stall door. And then as soon as she left, I hightailed it out of there, went over to the men's restroom to wash my hands. And now it's happened one other time where I've walked in and see all stalls. And now I know, because sometimes the signs aren't well placed if they're close together. But it was the most awkward feeling thing. But now that I look back, it's pretty hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, I everything you're saying, I completely like feel it like in my bones because I remember just it was probably 2 minutes.
Yeah,
but maybe more than that. Maybe it was 4. But it literally felt like I was in there for 30 minutes. It felt like I was in there forever and going, oh no, and I was like feeling hot, man, like in my shirt. I mean, I'm feeling steam coming off of me, just sweating and trying to figure out what to do. I did go into the women's restroom at the Civic Center for graduation because I stayed there pretty much like 4 graduations through. And I just came through and I just been kind of like delirious, been there for like 6.5, 7 hours. And I come walking in. As soon as I walked right in, I was like, ooh, walk right back out. And so I've done that probably several times but in my life. But literally the other one was, because you can hear the ladies. I mean, they're just like dudes, passing gas, groaning. And then some of them are, you can just, hear them, cry, whining about stuff, and guys, if you've ever been in a stall where a guy's been on the phone with somebody. Sometimes I had a guy the other day in the gym, man, he had a full conversation next to me, literally on his phone, going at it in the morning, talking business, figuring out the sales thing that he's invested money in. Now he's trying to like make money and making a profit. And they were just chopping it up, dude, literally the entire time. I used the bathroom, went out, went on the treadmill, did 1 mile. I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and use the MP before I get to working out. So went to a urinal and old boy's still there. I mean, he was there probably 20 minutes and never left that stall.
Good.
So,
I mean, if I call Nikki and she's like making dinner or something, I can hear what's taking place.
For sure.
I guess they don't care, or they think it's not bleeding over into the
I
bowl.
think they probably just don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do we got today?
You shared an article with me and I thought it was great and called The Quiet Quitters.
Yep.
And so if you want to introduce that to us.
I will. So about probably 9 months ago, not quite a year ago, I was having a conversation with somebody and they actually in conversation brought this thing up and said it like I supposedly like would know what it meant to be a quiet quitter. And they were saying it from the perspective of like being in ministry and guys who work on staff at a church. And anyways, so from that moment, we talked about it. I said, hey, I really don't understand that term. They explained it to me. Told me it was like a phenomenon that was a thing that was on social media and whatnot, and it's just a term. And so I sent you this article that I saw that was on social media, and I skimmed through it, and because I've heard this before, and I remember just thinking about it actually put me myself in check, to be honest with you, thinking has there been moments in my life that I've been a quiet quitter, and so I really honestly I can remember when I was young being a quiet quitter, and I remember when I was going through a depression, I remember quitting certain things and whatnot because I was I was depressed. I was like would be mentally would somebody would say that I was depressed. So clinical, I would think clinical depression. Other than that, I don't think it's in my DNA, like who I am, but there are other things. When I say that, I'm not judging anybody who is, but what I am saying is that there's other things that I struggle with. But here's this article. It's in the New Yorker. And it says the year in quiet quitting. And so it's really talking about 2023, the beginning. So this is like the very last day or whatever, December 29th, 2022. And so this actually would be 2022 rolling in 2023, which we're in February of 2024. And so I'm just going to read the first paragraph. And so it says the whirlwind surrounding quiet quitting first stirred in July. Okay, so it happened in 2022 when Zaid Zahn, a 20-something engineer, posted a TikTok of himself taking over a mortgage of an urban scene waiting for the subway, looking up leaves on a tree-lined street. I recently learned about this term called quiet quitting, where you're not outright quitting your job, but you're quitting the idea of going above and beyond. Khan says, you're still performing your duties, but you're no longer subscribing to the hustle culture mentality that work has to be your life. The reality is it's not. And your worth as a person is not defined by your labor. The hashtag quiet quitting. Hashtag quickly caught fire with countless other TikTokers offering their elaborations and response. And I'm going to read a little bit more. It says traditional media outlets noticed the trend. Less than 2 weeks after the original video, The Guardian published a explainer, quiet quitting, why doing the bare minimum at work has gone global. A few days later, the Wall Street Journal followed with its own take, and the traditional financial media piled on. If you're a quiet quitter, you're a loser, the CNBC contributor Kevin O'Leary declared, before adding, this is like a virus. This is worse than COVID. Quiet quitting supporters fought back, and mostly with sarcasm. Soon after O'Leary's appearance, a popular TikTok user, which I'm not going to even say the guy's name, he recorded the passenger seat of a car, went to response to the older gentleman whom he had seen dismissing quiet quitting. I'm not going to put a 60-hour work weekend and pull myself up by my bootstraps for a job that does not care about me as a person, he declares. And so, and then the article is just talking about a debate, and it mentions different generations. Generation Z is being in like the newest one that our kids are in, yours and mine, and then it talks about boomers and Gen X and all that stuff. And so it's a really good article. And again, there's tons of articles about this, and there's hashtags, and I can speak on it. It's just my experience with Gen Z and my conversations in the local schools. But I'd love to know, what is your first thoughts when you saw this article and the term and all that stuff? What is your first thoughts, Nick?
Well, I think the behavior is prevalent in multiple different areas, and we've talked about that, so we can kind of explore that in other ways. It's not just on the job.
Yeah.
I believe it's multifaceted in how it works itself out. But what this is necessarily basically, I'm not giving my life to a job that I think that's where he summed it up.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give 60 hours of my week to a job that doesn't care about me. And so my question would be, do you care about your job? You know, why are you working a job? It's to earn money. And so if the job requires a certain level of activity, then that's the bare minimum. But at the end of the day, you're leaving your mark on whatever you do. And so as followers of Jesus, we've talked about this before, whatever our hand finds to do, we do with all of our might. We do it as unto the Lord, and whether we eat or drink or whatever we do for the glory of God. And so this seems to be a mindset of, and I've seen it other places where this person put in 35 years of their career and they got a clock at the end. No, they got health benefits. They got a paycheck, probably a pretty good living, depending on what the industry is. They wouldn't have stayed there if it didn't pay their bills and provide for them to go on vacation and for them to do what they needed to do. So to act as if some company owes us some grand exit because we spent 35 years of our life there is very self-centered. And that's really what I see out of this is like, it's about me. And I'm not giving this company my best years of my life. And so then we see the consequences of that where people start complaining, younger people. And I think we've all seen it in every generation. It's not just this generation, but there's a segment, and I do think it's growing based on statistics, of I want to put in the bare minimum. I want $15 an hour to start with for, a entry-level job, or I'm not going to work. And then complaining that they don't have money for this, that, or the other, or, they don't have what other people have, and yet they're not putting forth that effort. So I hear a lot of selfishness in it, as if the company is supposed to placate to you and coddle you and like you're something special. This generation that's been told they're special and now expect a trophy whether or not I win or not, some kind of recognition, some kind of certificate, is just it's self-centered. And so I think that it is setting up a mindset that's not going to bode well for a lot of people. I heard someone say not too long ago, I forget who it was, but basically they were saying, I mean, if you get up early, you commit yourself, you show up early, I think I've heard several people really say that, like, it will look like you're uber successful only because so many people are not doing that. They want to show up when they want to show up. They put in the bare minimum. They're not putting in, anything extra. And so you're going to shine and you're going to get the opportunities because the others aren't. And so to succeed today is much easier because of what you're the competition maybe that you're up against in the workforce. So those are some of my initial thoughts. What about yourself?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I would say identical to you. First thing I thought was like selfishness, because I've actually I've seen this play out in the workplace before, and I've experienced it, and I've been a part of like you have when you're in conversation with people, and you have to let them go, and you always want to, they say you hire slow, fire quick, and because when you know it's not going to work, you know that if they're on their way out, they're already going to give you half-hearted effort. Yeah, it just bothers me. I mean, I don't know why it bothers me so bad. I think because I see this not just in the workplace, but in marriage and parenting, and I just feel like, and it looks different to every generation. And there's studies that say that, and so I don't know if it's just a parental thing where you raise your babies a certain way and you coddle them, or in such a way, and then they just feel like inclined that things are supposed to come easily for them. I know for this generation, because I've been in the schools and I have taught a class a few times a month. I'll go twice next month. I actually haven't gone all of January, February because I've been slammed with events. But I have two classes I'll go, and so. But I remember speaking to the class about what do they see in their generation, and it was a very different viewpoint from a junior senior group. So that's 11th and 12th grade, so more like 17, 18-year-olds than a 15, 16-year-old, which was 9th and 10th.
Yeah.
The same topic, same everything, same class, 2 separate hours, and their view on how they see their peers, was a little bit different. And I think it was because they have more maturity. And so when I say that, I say the 11th and 12th was very honest, straight up. And one of the things that they talked about was, they just need to feel valued. They have to feel valued.
Right.
And so it immediately made me start thinking, obviously, how I can encourage them, and how I can, lack of a better term, like weasel my little way into having a really good, honest conversation with them without them feeling, that I'm talking down to them, because I'm not talking at them, I'm talking with them. And so, but you know how it is, a teenager, they can feel like a correction or anything that could be criticism. And so I'm just trying to posture myself, because middle schoolers, they think you're cool. And then you validate if a middle schooler is cool. And then when they get in high school, they validate if you're cool or not, if they're going to listen to you or not, or you could be like a parent.
Yeah.
And so with me being, this year I'll be 47, I try to think about that. But in that, I was just thinking, and it has kind of always stuck with me, just thinking about it now after this article and whatnot. I wonder if it's, more of a parental thing, and we don't push our kids to do hard stuff. We want them to do easy things, and maybe they even see us, the parents, which is not you and I. We're like, I'm Gen X, so like maybe it's the millennial group that wants things a certain way, and maybe they just saw their parents complain or check out, and that gave them, But I feel like Gen X, our generation, was more that parents weren't around a whole lot, and so we kind of raised ourselves.
Yeah,
is what studies show. And so I don't know, man. But it burns me, because from a parental angle, I've seen kids, their parents are checked out, man, and I see that more than ever. Like working with them, and so it makes me just want to challenge dads, be all in, like not just with your children, but with if you're married, like be all in, be present. Like don't, because your wife isn't doing something or pleasing you or not giving you what you want. Y'all know what that means, but like, or you're unhappy, so you're just going to quit at everything. Like, man, you got to find that moxie. So with me saying that, what do you think that we need to do? What do you think that,
Well, and I definitely agree. I think the quiet quitting can land as husbands, as fathers, where you're just doing the bare minimum. And that's essentially what those people were saying. I've seen people who stay with companies who they disagree with just to get a paycheck. And when you talk about, well, guys not getting what they want, sex or their own respect or whatever that might be, I'm just gonna do my bare minimum just to kind of keep her from fussing at me or whatever that might be. But at the same time, I think what we really need to do is understand that we have a responsibility regardless. First of all, as followers of Jesus, for those who are listening to this we're called to do everything with all of our might. We're to do it for the glory of God. But it's not just I'm not getting what I want, or I'm going to do this to get what I want.
Yeah.
So then you're just doing what you should be doing anyway, for that's self-centered as it is. And so when we look at our young people and we wonder why, well, we need to look at ourselves and go, are we translating that in some way? Are we demonstrating that in some way? So I think it comes back to the core root of who we are, and to go, I am a man, and my responsibilities as a man are X, Y, and Z. And so therefore, it's kind of like I said on Sunday to our church, it's like we do what we do out of our identity. You know, we discipline ourselves based on who we are. So it now becomes not, I don't feel like it, or I'm not getting what I want, and so therefore I'm either not going to do it or I'm going to give the bare minimum. It's, this is who I am, so therefore this is what I do.
That's right.
Does not matter if the results, and I think that's when we talk about fitness and training and those type things. Guys, one of the things you will learn is delayed gratification. You're not going to go to the gym, start lifting weights, and within a week start seeing muscle.
That's right.
And fat loss and those type things. It takes time. And so as men, when we're fulfilling our responsibilities, you're not always going to get what you want, but you continue putting the work in, and you continue being consistent in fulfilling your responsibilities. And in time, your relationship's going to get better with your wife, with your children. In time, you might see you're getting more respect. Your intimacy with your wife has increased. And so you don't do that just to get that, but you do it because you're a man.
That's right.
And that's your discipline. This is who I am. And so therefore, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I do. When I feel like it, when I don't, when it's convenient, when it's not, whatever. Well, what do you think we should add?
Man, I don't even know if there's much to add to that. I mean, I think that is, I would say that is the truth of it's your identity. And from a logical sense, if you're talking about a job, you get a paycheck.
Yeah.
Dude. So you're getting something, you're working and you're getting something. And your identity in a workplace is you are an employee. Don't you want to be like the great employee? Even if your employer doesn't maybe respect you or like you, that has got nothing to do with you pertaining like in your output. And I do understand like mental health can play a part in it, and from any kind of medical thing like that can play a part in where you just don't want to have the drive. That's what we say. Like guys, like if you're in your 40s and you don't have a certain drive with certain things. One of my first things is, or you get sad and depressed a lot or whatever. So get your testosterone check.
Yeah.
Like you need to go to the doctor and really like go to a checkup. Dudes don't like to go to checkups. You need to get a checkup. Just go get checked by the doctor because it could be something biologically with you. But dude, I think it is your identity, and this is who you are, and because this is who you are, this is what you do. And I know be raising my boys, that's something I push to them. And, but it's hard work, and you got to tell yourself that all the time. But yeah, and it's sad that now that's a very accepted, large quantities, like in society as a whole, is that people think that you should work 5 hours a week. 5 hours a day maximum. And the employer's got to do this, X, Y, and Z, and you're like, whoa! They give you a paycheck,
right?
And then the NFL, from a sports angle, we've seen that with NFL like recently. Them talking about, with professional athletes getting paid millions of dollars, but they still want more, and they still want it to be like about them with this, and that. And then you're like, some of the owners, they don't budge; they're just staying rock solid, going, man, we pay you $50 million.
Right.
Like you need to show up for camp, not be holding out because you get paid. But then they're like, well, then we're just going to, they're going to hold your rights. But here's the deal: if you know sports, you know this is what happens. They hold your rights in the NFL, and they can what they call franchise tag, which we're in the middle of the off season for NFL, for professional football. But at the end of the day, you knew what you signed up for.
Right.
You knew this was the deal, and it's not like you're eating beanie weenies. You're getting paid millions and millions of dollars. Some of these guys getting paid $45 million, and they're upset about a franchise tag. That's going to pay them 10% more than what the top salaries are, and you're still going to go, man, it's unfair. It's like, fair?
Right.
That's not even like. And then every once in a while, you'll get guys who do put it out there on social media and even like interviews. They say, "Hey, we are very blessed to have the job that we have," and because the hard jobs being a teacher and a firefighter and all these other things, and so we call it, they have the right perspective. They're just thinking logically and rationally, but yeah, man, I think you hit the nail on the head. I do want to read. I mean, I know this. A lot of people are maybe not Christians, but I like this is a Bible verse, and I'm gonna try to pull it up.
Well, while you do that, I'll just say this one part. Try starting a church or a ministry or a business and be a quiet quitter. It's not going to work. Like, you're not going to do the bare minimum to start a company. But then if you start a company and you hire people, do you want them doing the bare minimum?
Yep.
And I'm not saying don't show appreciation and value people. Thank them, let them know they're doing a good job, those type things, value them. But that doesn't mean that you're owed something beyond your paycheck, some super bonus or all this different stuff. It's like, yes, we should show people appreciation, but put yourself as a business owner with limited funds and all those type things, or a ministry. Like, if you're not putting in the time, you're not going to have the success. But then you'll complain, when you don't have the success, or you'll start being jealous of other people. And it's like, you don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. You don't know how many hours they're putting in. You don't know how late they stay up at night and how many meetings they're going to, you may be taking it easy, just doing the bare minimum. They may be grinding, working double what you're doing, and you're jealous of something just because you don't have the same level of success.
Man, can you imagine a sports team, basketball team with 5 guys on the team, and one guy's showing up at practice an hour early, another guy shows up like 30 minutes early. They all show up on time, and then that one cat that rolls in 5 minutes afterwards has an okay practice, but then blames everybody else for like their mistakes. I mean, like that guy never is like looked at or revered, or people don't look at them with honor. Right. Look at them with like, this guy's a loser, man. And so, guys, we shouldn't be a loser. This is actually in Proverbs. Even if you're not a Christian and you hear this is really good wisdom. A proverb. There's tons of proverbs out there. This is just one of in the Christian spectrum, but it says it's actually in Proverbs 22 verse 29. I call it an old school proverb, but it says, "Do you see a man skillful in his work? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before obscure men." But I love, "Do you see a man skillful in his work? He will stand before kings." All that's talking about is like those who are diligent, non-lazy, skillful in his work. Those who have worked hard at their craft, they stand before kings, meaning that they'll be honored. And so, even if you don't get the limelight or don't get your little trophy, like our trophy is handling our business, doing what we're supposed to do, really flexing on our identity, because who we are, like Nick said, so we do. And I think that's it, man. And you will be honored at some point. You'll be honored.
Well, as parents, I think we need to have conversations with our children to see where their thinking is. So some of it comes down to parenting. What are we demonstrating as parents? What conversations are we having with our young people to see where their ideology is, so that we can challenge them and teach them? And that, because I do think TikTok and all those are always kind of geared towards the lowest common denominator. It's always people are going to gravitate and drift towards what is comfortable and what is convenient.
Yep.
And so, of course, it went viral. Well, of course, because, that's right. I'm not going to give, and we don't think things through. Like, I'm getting a paycheck. I'm getting promotion opportunities if I'm putting in extra effort and I'm showing myself. I'm working for the job that I want, not the job I have. And, those type things. When we're doing those things, then there are benefits to it as well. The Lord's going to honor us. So TikTok and social media is teaching our children. So I think as parents, we need to look, what are we demonstrating? What conversations are we having? But then also as men, hey guys, if you are listening to this and you're like, hey, I feel like I'm maybe a quiet quitter, or I've been calling it in and not putting forth a full effort. You feel yourself kind of drifting. Have a conversation with a friend. Ask them to hold you accountable, to check in, ask you the tough questions. Have some courage to own up to some of those maybe shortcomings. And I just got you as you took a sip of water.
Yeah,
and I just
agree.
paused.
Boom, let's go.
Real quick, because of time, I just want to throw it out there. Have you seen the situation with the Laken Riley in Georgia, Athens, Georgia?
Yeah.
She was a Augusta University nursing student,
That's
so
right.
it kind of hits really close to home.
Yeah, it was very, very sad, man. And I found myself immediately, because of what I do, knowing college kids on college campuses, and a lot of guys as well as a lot of females who would be like my children. I got nervous, and as a dad of a daughter, I got nervous that, are you kidding me? And then also at the same time, I was very nervous and like, worried a little bit. And then at the same time, I was very like angry.
Yeah.
Because I feel like how we've handled all along. We don't ever talk really politics like on this, but I just feel from jump that things have been handled. And I feel like I'm outspoken when asked, but I don't try to like, give people my thoughts, 2 cents.
Yeah.
But I'll say it on the air, like, our administration handling illegals it's been a train wreck, bro.
Yeah.
And it has not been good at all. And I think we're seeing something that happened and illegal, and I don't know, man. It's just terrible. What you think?
Well, same thing. One realize, even our guest episode 3, I believe it was Ryan, Gil, his daughter is up there. So really, I've thought about her and the fact that, what if she was like, I'm going to take a walk, and I've even, Haley has asked if there's a pond close to our house where she'll want to walk. And I'm like, not by yourself. And she's like, oh, I can take care of myself. And you realize like someone could ambush, it's not what you always see, but it's what, and oftentimes we have let her go because it's at the end of our street, which is very short, if she takes like the dog or something. But, last night I wrote a post on Instagram and Facebook about it, and I said shame on the Biden administration and every sanctuary city. Blood her blood, and it's not just her. This has happened in other cities.
Yep.
It just hits really home here. Their blood is on their hands. Those who have enacted these policies, and it's not a political thing. It is an American security thing, because the criminals aren't asking, those who are coming in illegally, and they have caught terrorists, the people on terrorist watch lists. They've caught violent criminals, gang members. And so they don't ask what party you're a part of.
That's right.
I don't know how Laken voted. I don't know if she was a Republican or a Democrat.
Uh-huh.
I know her family seemed to be followers of Jesus. I clicked on her mom's profile right when I found out like the name. I searched the name, saw where her mom had made a comment. They seemed to be people of faith, and she was on the dean's list, and very promising young lady. And so, but I don't know how she voted. I don't know what her politics are, because it shouldn't be a political thing.
Yep.
This is the security of our nation, and it's the security of our families. And I do what I can to secure my home, but we as a country need to do what we can. And I think there needs to be accountability. If and I posted this on my post, if a police officer goes and wrongfully kills someone using their power as a government official to do that, we would call for justice.
Yeah.
We would want justice to be brought to that person. Why is it any different with our politicians?
Yep.
So, it made me angry as well. Last night after I posted that, I went for a run. I had my best time. I've just started running again, really focused running. And I had my best time in my last 2 runs, because I'm just thinking the whole time. I'm like Rambo, last blood mentality. Like,
that's right.
Rip the heart out kind of.
Right.
I'm thinking about this guy. I'm thinking if it was my daughter, on the track, I'm thinking like, even if I caught him before he harmed her, what I would do. And I just kept running. Like I was tired. I just, it just fueled me. And I think as men, if I step on my soapbox here for a minute, we need to not be silent. It's not a political issue. And with the voting, we do need to vote for the security of our nation. I'm not telling you which party to vote for and all that. You got to do your due diligence on that. I've got my own leanings and perspective.
That's right.
But I will tell you, we need to do something.
That's right.
It's time to act because we've been flooded with people that some mean no harm, but some do.
That's right.
So
and then from the political, let me define what I'm saying. I think for me, when I say I just I don't want to. Sometimes I'm not the best at typing something. I'm not like you, so I'm dyslexic, so I can't really type all that great. It'll come off somebody's feelings get hurt, and then my emails flooded.
Back to the comedy show. We should be able to
show. That's what I should. But the thing that makes me so literally frustrated to anger if I dwell in it, if I abide in it, and then it mess my whole day up, dude. I would just be short with everybody. Is that the politicians exploit people for votes, and because of this, and then they do this and they allow this, and it's all a political, catch, and that is that's so frustrating when the government does that, and they're supposed to be for the people, and I do believe 100% like you, they should be held accountable, and I have my view. That maybe we'll talk about it on here. Those who hurt people like that or cause harm, what I think should happen to them, and it's Shane's view, and it doesn't represent the church I serve in or even my family. I don't think my wife or my kids because they would think differently probably, but it's just it upsets me and in that. I can't dwell in it, but like you, I agree 100% what you said. So
and of course people make it political because a politician, and it's the Biden administration right now and other leaders in other states and cities, they are the ones, but there have been Republicans who have been loose on border security and things like that, but it is a politician who is making the decision. I believe there's an agenda with it, and 100%. then they deny there's a problem where other people have been saying there's a problem. Now it hits close to home, and that's where more frustration comes in. But if something ever happened to one of my children, the police better find them before I do, because I will be on the manhunt. But two, I think the frustration would be is if they did catch them, that I could not. I know where you're leaning.
Yeah, you couldn't do anything.
Right. I would want to. I know the Bible says vengeance is mine, but boy, would I.
There's a movie about it too. Boy, with Gerald Butler. He plays it. What's it called?
Taken.
No. Gerald Butler. Where his wife and his child was dead, and then all parties involved. What's it called?
There's been several, but I forget. I think I have it on DVD.
Can't remember, but anyway, it's
there's several
Oh yeah, he's getting his vengeance because the I guess the system didn't allow him didn't cause any punishment, so he was done. He takes it and Jamie Foxx is in it too.
Yes, I can't think of the name, but I've got it on DVD.
Yeah,
and I know exactly what you're talking about. And he starts doing something from prison, and he
thought it all out, man.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it real quick.
But yeah, there's several like that. Of course,
law-abiding citizens.
Law-abiding citizens.
That's it.
So
yeah, that's where my brain goes to. So.
For sure. And that'd be frustrating. So
I think we're done, dude.
We're done.
We've run our time. So appreciate you guys listening. Like always, if you find it beneficial for you, please share, and maybe it can be an encouragement to someone else that's out there. And
we'd love to hear from you, whether it be emailing us at our contact@malecartel.com or on our socials, just to join the conversation.
Yep.
What do you think about this situation with Laken's death and the border security? What do you think about men peeing on seats? What do you think about quiet quitters? Join the conversation.
Right.
That way this is more of a community, and that's what we hope to build.
Yep, that's right. And even what do you think why was it a good day for producer Carell on Sunday?
That's right.
Was it a sandwich and a sweet kiss, or was it just a good day? So
help us figure it out. It's a mystery.
All right, awesome, good times, and like we always say, get 1% better every day.
1% better every day. Remember, do what you do because of who you are.
That's right. That's it. Peace.
See ya.
Thank you for joining the Male Cartel podcast. Be sure to subscribe and share to help other men join the cartel. You can also keep up with us on social media and at malecartel.com.